And finally, we have the Google Pixel 11 Pro XL, which looks identical to the Pixel 11 and Pixel 11 Pro as you'd expect because it is part of the same family. Of course, the same changes are here as well. We have that sort of new camera bar design where it's completely blacked out on the back with just the edges being in the body color instead of that portion around the flash being in the body color as we've had on the Pixel 9 and Pixel 10 already. So we're looking at a 6.8 inch LTPO AMOLED display here. Dimensions are pretty much the same as last year, 162.7 by 76.5 by 8.5 millimeters. That is about a tenth of a millimeter difference in every dimension, which is going to mean that your Pixel 10 Pro XL cases will not fit the Pixel 10 Pro XL. And that's likely just to make you buy new cases if you did upgrade year over year. Though many people are likely not going to be upgrading from Pixel 10 Pro XL to Pixel 11 Pro XL because it's just not really worth it these days to upgrade every single year. Internally, we're going to have the Tensor G6 processor, which has already leaked to be a 7-core processor with the MediaTek M90 inside instead of a Samsung modem, which should help with battery, which is also expected to get a pretty major boost this year to 5,500 milliamp hour. And where Google has been so set against doing silicon carbon, so it's a little bit surprising to see them jump to such a high battery capacity. Now the Pixel 10 Pro XL did have a 5,200 milliamp hour battery, with the Pixel 10a and 9a both having 5,100 milliamp hour. So to see it jumping up to 5,500 is probably not that big of a surprise, but it is a very nice upgrade to have. Though I would still rather Google focus on making Tensor more efficient, because right now it's not very efficient at all. Now the Pixel 10 Pro XL did start at 256 gigabytes of storage, which we expect that to continue with the Pixel 11 Pro XL this year. We don't expect them to bring back the 128 to try and negate some of the price increases we're seeing with flash, RAM, and CPU components these days. But you never know with Google. Because as far as pricing goes, we'd expect it to stick to the $1,200 price point that we got last year with the Pixel 10 Pro XL. And that's mostly because it jumped to 256 gigabytes of storage as a starting point instead of 128. Though we could see it go up $100 here in the US just based on all those components going up in price. And this is going to depend on some choices that Google will need to make, like do they want to reduce the RAM to 12 gigabytes, because obviously 12 gigabytes is doable because they have that in the base model, and how much profit do they want to make on each unit. Now keep in mind, Google does generally discount these Pixel devices pretty quickly, so profit may not be that big of a deal to them for these Pixel devices. Now as far as the launch date, as we said with the Pixel 11, Pixel 11 Pro, we're expecting this to launch in August. It's typically around mid-August is when they'll announce the devices, and they'll be available for pre-order that same day, shipping about a week or two later. There's been a couple of caveats here where last year we had the Pixel 10 Pro Fold and the Pixel Watch 4 being available about a month later. And back with the Pixel 9, the Pixel 9 Pro was also a bit later, along with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. But that is the Google Pixel 11 Pro XL. It looks just like the rest of the family, and now Google is kind of doing what Samsung has done with the Galaxy S series, where all three models now look identical instead of, having two that look identical and then one that looks kind of off. Google was kind of the opposite of Samsung, where its base model looked off and Samsung's Ultra model looked off from the rest of the family. But that is the Pixel 11 Pro XL. You can hit the links in the description to check out the Pixel 11 and Pixel 11 Pro if you missed those. And if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.